Ciao amore, welcome back to the Pilonitude podcast con me, Mayra Piloni. And I hope you're having a beautiful day. I almost didn't record this podcast. Like it's been a day, okay? It's been a day. We're in Mercury retrograde right now, and normally I don't put a lot of blame when a planet goes into retrograde, or even just in general Mercury going into retrograde. I don't put too much attention to that or start blaming things on that. But today was interesting because today I had originally planned to make this episode. Uh, and but a lot of things started disrupting the day earlier today. Like the electricity went out in my house two times. And it was very uncomfortable, to say the least, because Chicago, where I'm at, had a bit of a winter storm. So it is freezing outside. There's a lot of snow still outside. So you can believe that when the electricity went out, we had no heating. And if there's no heating, you're freezing. And also, I couldn't, heat up some hot tea. I couldn't turn on the stove because it's also connected to electricity. Couldn't get filtered water. There's a lot of things that I couldn't do, and I realized, wow, there is so much that I daily receive through electricity, and it's now that I don't have it. Two times today, I went out and then it came back, and then it went out and then and then it came back. But during those moments, I realized how much of a blessing electricity is, and how, our ancestors didn't have electricity, if we go back, like really way back in time. And yeah, it was just like a humbling moment. And when things like that, yeah, I did get irritated. Yeah, I did complain. But, I had to take a breath and be very grateful for all the luxuries that I have in my life, and that maybe my ancestors obviously didn't have, depending on how far back we go, of course. And yeah, it's just a reminder to always be grateful every day for our running hot water, our hot shower, the fact that we could turn on a stove and make a really hot meal, that we have, heating, or air conditioning in the summer. There's just all these luxuries of daily things that we have that just make life so cozy and so amazing. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I almost didn't record this podcast. I was like, oh, Mercury retro. See, I can't even speak. Mercury retrograde has got me today. And right now it's in Sagittarius, and it's going to go into my zodiac sign of Scorpio. Ooh, I don't know what's going to happen then, okay? We'll see if I record more episodes this week or next week, because I think the retrograde is going until the 29th of November. And this weekend is my birthday. I'm like, oh, come on, really? So hopefully everything is smooth sailing. My English is not working today. But you know what? I have to say, if you're listening to this and you're planning on traveling, really double check everything, because I think that when this retrograde, Mercury retrograde, is in Sagittarius, which is the zodiac sign of travel, I would, and Mercury obviously is also the planet of communication and travel as well. So, regardless, it affects travel quite a bit. But now with Sagittarius, even more so. Like, I would be looking at canceled or late flights. Also, your luggage, people could lose luggage during this time. And I have heard stories of many people that have traveled during the Mercury retrograde and have experienced this kind of thing. So I probably wouldn't travel right now, unless it's like an emergency, right? Then, all blessings with you. May your travels, be smooth sailing, smooth going, whatever the saying goes. But yeah, it's it's interesting how sometimes the astrological planets and influences can sometimes affect us in different ways because we all have a very unique birth chart. So it's not going to be the same for everyone. But anyway, I actually did want to come on and talk about a little bit, like a bit of a closing to my podcast from last week. For those of you who did listen, and you know the story that I shared, I didn't really get into the feelings that I experience in what happened. So many of you probably heard about the experience I had, how I went to Italy to visit this guy that I had known for a very long time, but I was unaware that he was married. He never disclosed that information with me. And if he had disclosed it when I was in London before I flew out to see him and spend time with him, I would have not gone. I would not have gone to Italy, especially because I think, and I did say this in my last podcast episode, that I believed he should come to me. And that is how I see it, that a man who truly wants a woman and wants to be with a woman will put in the effort no matter the challenges, and that I had him on a high pedestal, and because of that I think I jumped at the opportunity and was like very excited and in la la land and like rose colored glasses. I didn't see the reality of what was in front of me, even though my intuition was feeling it. I had actually sniffed it months before we even decided to actually see each other. You probably, heard me say in the last episode that I had spoken to him throughout the year and that I was already kind of sensing something like I was, what's the word I'm looking for? I sometimes can't remember English words, so excuse me. I speak multiple languages. uh, like I just my intuitive ability notion, I was sniffing it, I was smelling, I was sensing it. Like I was like, I think he might be married. I wonder if he's married. But for some fucking reason, I didn't ask him because he kept saying he was single. So if a guy's telling me he's single and we've been friends for 14 years, I'm gonna believe him. I mean, again, I remember seeing pictures of him with the girlfriend for many years on social media, but I never saw their wedding pictures. So this is something that happened to me that, and it happened for me. I am of the belief. It was an interesting lesson because, I'm the kind of person that I would never get involved with a married man. It's very much a big no because I know my worth and I know what I desire and I know what I want. And before I even went to Italy, I already had this desire for a true relationship, a soulmate relationship with someone that I can unite my life with and have children with and get married and have a home with. And so there's no way in hell that if I knew he was married, I would have been okay with going to see him, even though, in his defense, he was getting divorced. But still, what he did was not right, because he should have been very open with me before I left London at the time. He should have been, this is what's happening. I need you to be aware of this before you come. He should have been very straight with me about his intentions, even though there's this thing that Italian men love to do, and that's to wash your head with romanticism and romantic things. Like he painted a beautiful picture of what would happen between us and what we would do together. So, of course, this, lovey-dovey Myra, who had rose-colored glasses on and loves to romanticize everything, and is been a bit of a dreamer and romantic all her life. You know, I still am, even with all the things that I've experienced. I still am very much of a romantic, but I just wasn't seeing clearly. And when a guy starts telling you all these romantic things, and he's, I guess, in a way he was putting effort into spending time with me, into telling me, you know, and inviting me, picking me up at the airport. He lives in Puglia, so he had to travel quite a bit to get to Napoli, to pick me up at the airport. And he had to step away from his business because, as I mentioned in the other episode, he owns an olive oil company. And so, you know, he was putting in efforts that I thought was like, oh, he's demonstrating to me that he does have feelings or serious intentions or whatever. But when I first got there that first day, I was unaware of the truth. You know, until the second day, actually, he took me to meet his parents, which for me, even though I'm Italian, okay, and I come from an Italian family, my other side of my family is Spanish. Uh, when we take someone to go see our parents, for me and my family, it's, you know, you only take a boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Someone that you are, you know, serious with. And but in Italy, I guess people guys take their friends, you know, to see their parents. It's not a big deal, you know. And and mind you, I'm not going to get into this in this episode, but my family immigrated from Italia to Mexico, you know, Mexico. So my family obviously is a little different than the ones that are actually born. Well, my family was born in Italy, but they didn't live there for most of, you know, their life. I guess things are different in Italy from people that were born and live there and are there. Because I don't know how to explain this. For me, it was just when I went to see his parents, I thought he was serious about me. Okay. I was like, wow, this guy is truly, you know, genuinely all about me. He, you know, something's going to happen between us. I don't know. Because he was talking very serious, like, oh, I want a relationship. I want to get married. Like, how fast do you want kids? He was just saying all these things. And mind you, he's older than me. He's like 7, 8 years older than me. So, you know, it was in a moment where I thought, oh, this guy is ready for commitment. We've known each other for many years. This is like literally the perfect uh situation. It's perfect timing. And shortly after we had dinner with his parents, we went back to his apartment. That's when I find out the truth because she calls him. And I did say this in the last episode. But again, in the last episode, I didn't really talk about my feelings, about what really went down emotionally. My last episode was mostly about how you shouldn't put people on a pedestal because that was basically, you know, something that I did with this person. And when you do that, it messes with the energy of the attraction, and the polarity and just everything of the connection with someone. But anyways, I don't even know if I'm making sense because I swear with this, you know, now I'm gonna blame it on the retrograde. Anyway, I hope you're kind of understanding where I'm getting to. So yeah, I when I found out, I was really angry. I was, you know, very angry. I was like, well, this is done. We're done. It was the beginning of the trip, and I was like, this is now I know why my spirit guides and my intuition, or whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, my angels, were trying to prevent me from going to Italy because, as you remember, my flight was canceled before the day before, and I almost didn't make it to the airport. And It was another humbling experience. Yeah. Again, I'm not the kind of person who would ever get involved with a married man or someone who's in a relationship. That is just not my vibe. It never has been and it never will be. But this situation really shocked me because it was something outside of my control. It was almost as if it was somehow meant to happen. There was no way I could stop it from happening. Why? I had no idea. I had no idea that this guy was married. This was something that was not, shown to me. He did not disclose this information. And so when I confronted him after he was talking to his, wife, and I said, "What the fuck? Why didn't you tell me the truth? Why didn't you tell me this before I came here? I'm not your fucking lover, like your hoe or whatever. What is this shit?" Oh, I went off. I went off. Granted, I stayed, with him the entire week because my flight was until the weekend and I had to fly out from Rome. So if you heard me say, I flew into Napoli, and Napoli airport, not only is it far from Puglia, it's not next to Puglia. Also, Rome is not next to Puglia. It's far away in the middle of the country. But the reason why I ended up booking it like that, my entire flight got changed. I was in London. I was going to fly out from London back to Chicago. So I had to change the flight regardless. But I flew on a separate flight to Napoli. And then my international flight back to Chicago rebooked, I changed it from Roma. Roma, at the time, there was no direct flights actually. Now there is, but it would be easier for me to get to Chicago from Rome. And the reason why I also booked it from there was because he had told me that we were going to travel and we were going to, go to Rome. A lot of things changed while I was there. Obviously, that was a big shocker, a big news. And then a lot of things happened with his harvest and like business and family. And it became a very chaotic week. We did not travel. We ended up not going anywhere until we took a road trip all the way to Roma and spent literally an evening in Roma. It's funny, it's basically the name of a song. But it was not that romantic, let me tell you. I remember that evening, it was during the pandemic time. There was a lot of prejudice with people who, didn't get the what. And so I remember even when we went to dinner in Rome, um, we had to sit outside on the patio. It was raining, it was storming, and it was freezing. And we had to sit on the outside patio. They wouldn't let us into the restaurant. Um, and I'm pretty sure he was a little resentful towards me because of that. Uh, and we didn't see eye to eye in that aspect. And yeah, it just was a very triggering time, because the entire week again, with all the stuff that he was going through, and I had to be there and witness that and really see everything for what it really was and kind of knock him off the pedestal and knock him off this like fantasy that I had of him, and the attraction just kind of like everything just went to shit. Of course it went to shit. I'm not gonna be attracted to someone who isn't even free to be with me, even though he was getting a divorce. But it was very complicated because the girl, his wife, was living in Russia, and there was a complicated issue where they had to do the divorce from there, from Russia. So you can fucking imagine, because for me, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm not dealing with this shit. And then I realized that he wasn't even over her. And then he couldn't even handle my truth when I told him that, you know, I straight up told him, if you want a new relationship with someone and you want to start over and be with someone that truly loves you and truly is all about you, you need to let go of your fucking ex. You know, I don't know if I said it like that. I probably didn't. I probably was people pleasing. I was probably a lot softer with him, but that was on my mind, and that's what I would say now. You know, I just remember having dinner with him in Rome and telling him, I was like, you know, if you are still talking to your ex and your ex is still talking to your mother and you're still talking to her family and you're still like good best friends, it ain't gonna work. You're not gonna find another person because you're still holding on to the old. And it can be very triggering to people who are not ready to let go of an ex and who don't want to see the truth. There's a saying in Spanish. How does it go? No hay peor ciego que el que no quiere ver. There is no worse blindness than that of a person who doesn't want to see. There we go. You know, I was blind. I went there blind, but then my vision was very crystal clear and I was seeing everything. But he was also blind because he was still stuck in this past, a past that was not really good for him. And I don't really want to get into his business, but I just saw the reality of the situation and I knew that he was not, he was just not ready. He was not ready to let go of someone who didn't even truly love him or valued him. And here I was, all about him, and he just didn't see me. Again, the energy was not right because of how high on a pedestal I had this man. And I did say in my last episode that this could go with anything. But even when a guy puts a girl on a pedestal, when a guy puts me on a pedestal, I don't like it because then I can do no wrong. And I'm not this perfect, you know, woman. I mean, hey, I like to think that I am. There's many beautiful, incredible, magical, perfect things about me. But let's be real, nobody's perfect. You know, nobody's perfect. We all have flaws. We all have things about ourselves that are maybe not so nice. You know, we all have a lightness and shadow side. So nobody's perfect and nobody wants to be on this pedestal because whatever's on this pedestal is always at one point it's gonna tumble, it's gonna come down. So yeah, you know, it was an interesting lesson. And it was something that was very eye opening for me, but it was also very painful because I wish that I had not had to experience something so uncomfortable. Like, I could have just flown from London to Chicago. Like, why? Like, I sometimes I look back and I think to myself, why did I have to go to Italy and experience something so shitty? Like, but I don't regret it. Like, looking back now, I'm like, okay, you know, because at least that dream that I had to reunite with him and to see him again and to spend time with him came true. And aside from the negative things that happened, there was some positive things that happened on the trip, and that was still a lovely experience of spending time and living, you know, not really living, but like the experience of like living in Puglia. It was interesting. It was fucking cold, let me tell you. And I realized while being there with him, and it was December, so it was freezing, that I am so spoiled. Again, back to the original little story of the introduction of how we're so comfortable and cozy with our stove and our hot showers and our heating and air conditioning. Yeah, well, I experienced some uncomfortable things regarding that. I didn't realize the whole you know, heating system in Italy and the heating system, not very good, okay? Not very good. Maybe not in every home, and definitely not in Roma, but I was in Puglia, and I think the south is always going to be a little bit more on the challenging side to the richer parts of Italy, which, of course, you know, Roma and the north are always going to be a little bit more comfortable. a little bit more sophisticated when it comes to utilities and things. But still, still an interesting and beautiful experience, regardless. And and to that, I want to add that everything, every challenging experience, every man who come or woman who comes to teach us something, along the path of our life is like a yellow brick road. And that yellow brick road leads you to yourself, to you as your own soulmate, or you could even say God is your soulmate. And when it finally leads you to that, I feel like this is the moment, the perfect moment that you can meet that true, and you could call it whatever you want, divine partner, counterpart, soulmate, true soulmate, that true person who is truly meant to be with you and to make a life with you and to have children with you and to marry and to have this beautiful life together, this true divine union. But the path to that true divine union, and for everyone is going to be very different, can be full of different challenges and lessons, and none of them are a mistake. Okay, so it is a bit of like a yellow brick road. Every single person, every little detour, every little bump in the road, every little shock and surprise is all leading you to that person. And obviously to yourself first. It's finding that soulmate within you, with God. Because that is actually the way to truly being ready to meet this true love that you've always been praying for. Everything is preparation for this love that you've been dreaming about. And I do believe that we all have a soulmate that we're meant to be with, like that one person that we have a soul contract that we have been with in multiple lifetimes. That, you can even say thousands of years, our soul reincarnates, and we have probably lived and experienced life with this person, this, soul, for many lifetimes and iterations, right? And I do believe that you come back to each other in every life. So if you feel it in your heart that there is someone you're meant to be with, you've seen signs of them, you see visions of them in your dreams, you get signs and synchronicities all the time. And it's just funny because all the guys that you date in life have a similar energy to your soulmate. They have like similar characteristics, a similar look, maybe the same name, maybe they come from the same country. There are signs and synchronicities in every single person that you date and that you encounter that is very similar, So again, the yellow brick road, right? On that road, you're gonna meet lots of different people that are very similar to that one person that you're truly meant to be with. Which is why it can be confusing. Which is why many times I have thought, oh my God, I met my soulmate. And then I realized, nope, it's not them. It's not them. Like I have had serious relationships in my past. So again, this is not something I'm going to share on this episode because that's just too much. It's going to be a very long episode, but I will share in different episodes. And it's just interesting. It's interesting, something that I've learned and something that I've realized. Like even number sequence, their birthdays. Um, there's a similar energy frequency to every single lover, boyfriend relationship you've had. Again, it's part of the puzzle, and they were meant to come in regardless. That connection you had was meant to happen. It was part of the journey, and it gave you so much wisdom. It gave you so much more, self-love, and I don't even know how to explain it. But even with the story that I shared about this experience with that person back in 2021, this was already a couple years ago. And since then, I've had many other experiences. But there's something new coming in. I can feel it. And maybe that is why I feel motivated to talk about these past experiences, because of that journey to myself, to loving myself, to really loving everything about me, and really respecting myself, respecting my intuition, and having this beautiful relationship with God, knowing that what is truly mine will always find me. And I don't have to chase it and I don't have to go look for it. It's going to find me. So, this message is for you too. If you're on a similar journey to me, if this resonates with you, if the lessons I'm sharing with you also resonate with you, it's because you're also ready to meet that person. You've also have been through many lessons and many little detours, and you've also been on that yellow brick road. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it here because it's quite of a interesting little chat. I kind of went all over the place, but I'm gonna leave it as imperfect as it is. That's the way the message came through. And yeah, I'm sending you all my love. And just a reminder that today's 11/11, something beautiful and orgasmic and just shocking and surprising is around the corner for you. Like, it's coming. It's not even in the future, it's literally about to surprise you. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened tomorrow, if it happened the next day, if it happened by the weekend, but you're about to be surprised. All right, a la próxima. Un bacio.